Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a topic today that, well, society has decided is pretty awkward.
Deeply awkward,
It's
yes.
scatological, definitely, often the butt of jokes. But look, if you're serious about your health, really serious about assessing it, what we're discussing today is, I mean, it's 100% essential. We're
Absolutely.
talking about what your stool reveals about your, well, your overall well-being.
It really is the ultimate check engine light, isn't it? And yet we just kind of turn away from it.
We do.
The fundamental concept our sources really hammer home is beautifully simple when you think about it. The human body is essentially a tube.
Right, hollow inside.
Exactly. A continuous passage starting right at the mouth and ending, at the rectum. The entire journey, this whole process from what you eat to how you expel the waste, it's maybe the most consistent and honestly critical health indicator we have.
And that's really our mission for this deep dive.
Yeah.
Why avoiding this whole conversation just because of pudor, that feeling of shame or awkwardness, is actually bad for your health.
Yeah.
Actively detrimental.
Hmm.
Every single characteristic of your waste, it signals something different. A different systemic issue you might be, silently suffering from.
It's a diagnostic tool.
A key one that we're just conditioned to flush away.
Yeah.
Instantly.
And this avoidance, this cultural thing, it starts right away in a clinical setting, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You see it immediately. When we look at the notes a health professional needs to take, they're trying to gather these, well, crucial data points.
Yeah.
But the questions make most patients just immediately uncomfortable, guarded, even blushing sometimes.
They're just trying to get the basic mechanics of elimination right. They have to ask about frequency. How often are you going? Is it once a day? Maybe 3 times a week?
Yeah, the basics.
They need consistency too. Is it soft? Or are we talking like hard little pellets?
And color, that's a big one.
Color is critical. Is it that healthy, kind of predictable brown, or is it worryingly light or dark, even black?
And then there's that slightly more subtle one, almost physics-based, the buoyancy.
Right. Does it float or does it sink? Stay on the bottom of the bowl. That tiny detail tells you so much about what you absorbed or didn't.
But the one question, the one that apparently causes the most, visible reaction, the embarrassment.
Yes. When the clinician has to ask, does it paint the toilet?
Yeah, meaning, does it leave traces,
Yeah.
smudges, residue stuck to the ceramic bowl?
And patients often just shut down there.
Our research suggests they do. They might say they're uncomfortable or just want the questions to stop.
But look, by refusing to answer that, you're willfully ignoring a really key piece of information about the condition of your gut lining, your intestinal lining.
We have to get past the shame.
We really do, because those details, they lead us directly to potentially massive systemic conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS.
Okay, let's define IBS properly.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people just use it as a generic term for, an upset stomach.
Fair point. So, the colon is simply the large intestine. That's the final stop on the journey, basically. Irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, is diagnosed when that large intestine functions poorly. Often you see abnormal contractions, or it's overly sensitive, or it just can't regulate water properly.
It's a functional disorder,
Yeah.
right? The structure looks okay, but the function is off.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is that the symptoms often go way beyond just the gut.
That was a major insight for me from the sources. We always compartmentalize things, don't we?
We do.
We think IBS is just, gas, cramps, maybe urgency. But a poorly functioning colon, it can show up surprisingly far away,
Like where?
like causing lower back pain. Or even persistent headache, sometimes right at the back of the skull or radiating towards the liver area. It's truly a full-body thing.
Which points us right back to the origin. Why did it start failing?
Right. And what the material makes crystal clear is this. You don't just catch IBS like a cold or, just have it because of bad luck or genes. You made it. The comparison they use is actually brilliant. It's like getting a disc hernia.
Well,
You didn't get that hernia randomly, did you? You got it after making a huge effort, maybe repeatedly, over time, like trying to lift something way too heavy or lifting a couch the wrong way. IBS is often the cumulative result of, well, misuse.
it's the digestive system kind of breaking down under sustained internal pressure. An accumulation of insults, really, to the gut environment.
And those insults are incredibly common these days, aren't they? If you list the specific causes that contribute to making IBS, well, it just lays our modern lifestyle bare.
It really does. First and foremost, you've got poor eating habits, diet. Then there's the relentless high stress levels that just seem to define modern life.
Stress is huge.
Huge. Then we see picotillo, that constant grazing or snacking throughout the day. It never gives the digestive system a proper break.
Never lets it reset.
Exactly. Add to that poor rest quality, lack of good sleep, and then the chronic inflammation drivers.
Yeah.
Alcohol and tobacco use. Individually, yeah, they're problems, but put them all together. You're almost guaranteeing digestive dysfunction down the line.
That constant grazing, the picotillo, that feels particularly insidious because you never let the colon actually clean up its act right. You're constantly sending in new material before the waste removal crew is even finished dealing with yesterday's job.
It's like pouring fresh trash into a recycling bin that's already overflowing. The whole system just grinds to a halt eventually.
Okay, so if the colon is being abused like this, malfunctioning,
Yeah.
we need to understand its main job, its core function.
It has a dual role, really critical, in that final stretch of the intestine. First, controlling the capture of water. And second, ensuring the elimination of toxins, waste products.
The water balance seems key, literally the key to comfort or, well, misery.
It's an incredibly precise balancing act. If the colon captures too much water, maybe because waste is just sitting there moving too slowly, you get severe constipation. I hear about patients going 5, 6, even 7 days without a bowel movement. That's serious.
Wow.
Conversely, if things move too quickly, the colon fails to absorb enough water. The result: uncomfortable, often urgent diarrhea.
So the sweet spot, the ideal scenario, is that middle term. Fast enough to move waste along, but slow enough to absorb just the right amount of fluid and any necessary nutrients left.
Precisely. But here's the critical priority, according to the sources. While absorbing nutrients is important, the absolute #1 priority in that distal tract, the colon, must be eliminating waste and toxins.
Okay.
Because if the body just absorbs everything, including all those waste products that should be expelled, well, those toxins stay inside the system.
And that immediately sounds like it puts a huge strain on the body's other filters, like the liver and
It absolutely does. It sends them into overdrive, trying to clean up the mess the colon failed to get rid of. But even more profoundly, when the body lives in this constant intoxicated state, it leads to systemic inflammation and chronic pain.
Why pain?
Because those circulating toxins, they tend to adhere to connective tissues. And most notoriously, they stick to the joints.
So that stiffness, that unexplained ache you might feel in your body, it could literally be digestive waste products lodging themselves in your joints.
It's a strong possibility, yes. But here's where it gets really interesting, according to the source material.
Go on.
Those toxins don't just stop at the joints. They also make their way to and adhere to the brain.
Whoa, hang on. Doesn't the body have like a super secure defense system for the brain to stop exactly that kind of thing? What about the blood-brain barrier?
You're right, it does. You're talking about the hematoencephalic barrier, the blood-brain barrier. And yes, it is incredibly protective, very resistant. Its whole job is to shield the central nervous system from circulating toxins, pathogens, you name it.
So it should stop this.
It should. But the warning from the sources is that under a sustained toxic load, especially from chronic gut issues, that barrier can eventually collapse, or at least become compromised, leaky.
Okay, so if the brain does become affected, maybe infected is too strong a word, but affected by these circulating toxins, how does that manifest? It's not like your brain feels pain in the same way your knee does.
Right, exactly. This is the absolute crux of the gut-brain connection they describe. The brain doesn't use nociceptors, those standard pain sensors, the way your shoulder or knee does.
So what happens instead?
Instead, the toxicity or the systemic inflammation reaching the brain manifests as intense, persistent emotional distress. Specifically, the sources highlight anguish and depression. That profound systemic link where chronic constipation could literally be a contributing factor to clinical depression. That's why monitoring your waste is just so unbelievably vital.
Okay. That connection is powerful. If poor gut function can genuinely lead to anguish and depression, we absolutely need to treat elimination with the seriousness it deserves. Do you see why analyzing your output is so critical now? Let's quickly run down those 4 key indicators again, and let's tie them back directly to this pain and depression link we just discussed.
Okay, let's do it. Start with frequency and consistency.
Right. What's the ideal?
Ideal frequency is generally once per day. Now, going 2 or 3 times can be absolutely fine, no problem there, but only if the stool is consistently good, meaning well-formed, easy to pass, not too hard, not too soft.
Okay. So what if the consistency is too soft? Blended. Heading towards diarrhea.
Great. That tells you immediately food is moving too fast through your system. You're discarding way too much water and, crucially, too many vital nutrients. If you struggle with this regularly, you'll likely have difficulty gaining or maintaining weight and problems with energy absorption. You'll feel drained.
And the flip side, if it's too hard, like type 1 or 2 on the Bristol scale, those small pellets or the lumpy sausage shape.
That means you've had excessive water absorption, the stool sat too long, and crucially, thinking back to our earlier point, you've likely absorbed far too many toxins along with that water. And we just spent time detailing the potential consequences of that. Chronic pain, stiff joints, and that potential very real link to emotional anguish and depression. Consistency is literally the gauge telling you about absorption versus, well, self-poisoning.
Okay, next indicator, the buoyancy test. This one's simple, just a visual check.
Super simple. Stool should always sink. Go to the bottom of the toilet bowl. It should not float, period.
And if it does float, what's that telling you?
We have to ask why, right? Often, it's a sign of excessive gas content trapped inside, which might suggest fermentation issues in the gut. But maybe more importantly, it often suggests fat malabsorption,
What do you mean?
meaning you're passing fats in your stool that your body should have absorbed. That points towards potential problems with digestion, maybe enzyme production, perhaps even gallbladder issues. Your body isn't breaking down or absorbing fats properly.
Got it. Okay, third, the color code.
Yeah.
Healthy brown from bile, that's the goal. But we're looking for the extremes, and black is a major red flag.
Huge red flag. Black almost always signifies blood. Often it's blood that's been digested as it traveled down from the upper GI tract, the stomach, or small intestine.
So dangerous. Needs checking out immediately.
Absolutely dangerous, requires immediate medical attention, no question. On the opposite end, if the stool is very clear, pale, clay-colored, very light,
What's that mean?
that suggests the body isn't detoxifying properly. Often indicates issues with bile production or flow, maybe a blocked bile duct, or liver problems. Bile gives stool its characteristic brown color. Without it, things look pale. The colors really tell the story of your internal filtration system.
Okay, finally, let's tackle the most delicate one, the mucosa warning, the painting the toilet question. The sources are really emphatic about this, aren't they? Zero tolerance.
Absolutely emphatic. If the stool leaves that sticky residue, if it seems to adhere to the toilet base, it means your body is actively losing mucosa.
And we need to stress why that's so incredibly serious. Mucosa isn't just some random slime.
Not at all. It is the only thing, the primary physical barrier that protects the entire intestinal wall. Protects it from digestive acids, powerful enzymes, potential pathogens, everything abrasive within the gut.
It's the shield,
Yeah.
the protective lining. Without it,
Exactly. Losing that protection means you are leaving your intestine incredibly vulnerable. Vulnerable to inflammation, damage, ulcers, leaky gut. The works.
and this vulnerability extends up, potentially, to the stomach, too.
Potentially, yes, including the gastric mucosa in the stomach. Losing that fundamental protective barrier means that even if someone's already taking antacids, like omeprazole for acidity, they're losing their body's own natural essential defense mechanism. It's like taking down the castle walls. It's a catastrophic structural failure of the tube itself.
Wow. Okay, so let's just synthesize this.
Yeah.
Our elimination habits, what comes out, it's profoundly connected to our systemic health. It runs the whole gamut from joint pain and mental anguish all the way down to like structural vulnerability in the gut and not getting enough nutrients. The quality of your output is truly, fundamentally inseparable from your internal state.
Absolutely. And the practical application here is immediate. It might feel uncomfortable, maybe even a bit weird at first, but it's simple.
What do you need to do?
We are basically asking you to go against potentially decades of social conditioning. Before you flush the chain, before you cover it all up with toilet paper, just stop.
Yuck.
Look. Take literally 2 seconds. Analyze what you produced. Think about the frequency, the consistency, the color, the buoyancy. This information, it's your body's clearest, most direct feedback mechanism. Start using it.
It's right there for you. Okay, so what does this all mean then for optimal function? If we actually manage to achieve that perfect middle ground, absorbing water correctly, getting rid of toxins efficiently, protecting that delicate mucosal lining, what's the ultimate sign? The final signal that everything is really operating at peak digestive performance.
The ultimate detail, the final kind of subtle sign shared in the source material, the indicator of truly optimal health and super efficient processing.
Yep.
A healthy stool may not even have an odor.